Most people believe they can distinguish an artificially created image from a real one, but this one might make them think twice. Given the context of this episode, it's probably safe to assume that the winning photograph in the Sony World Photography Award is not a real photograph, but rather an AI-generated photograph that fooled some of the keenest eyes in the world. Welcome to Financial Fortune, your go-to channel for all things related to finance, investing, and wealth management. In today's video, we will be discussing the rapid development of artificial intelligence and how it is impacting the world of art. This image is Prompter. Berlin-based Boris L. Daxson has been a photographer since 1989, so when he was given the chance to experiment with artificial intelligence art generators, he jumped at the chance. He didn't want to accept the award for his work because he felt it was inappropriate. We're curious as to how many of you were aware, or at least had suspicions, that this was fabricated by artificial intelligence. There's just something off about this, isn't there? Artificially intelligent images and photography shouldn't compete. They are two separate entities in this type of award. Since I do not consider AI to be photography, I cannot accept this honor. The world has changed, and we need to adjust to it. This is a glimpse into the future where AI creations are indistinguishable from reality. I'm sure you've all seen images of AI floating around the internet. The field of creative arts has been hit particularly hard by AI in recent years. How we got from here is insane. Artists all over the world have reacted angrily to this sudden shift in only a few years, and who can blame them? While traditional artists must devote their lives to their work, AI can complete the same task in a matter of seconds. There are a lot of unanswered questions because it has been trained on some of their work. If an AI is able to steal from humans, what happens next? Is that really stealing, though? If that's the case, then doesn't every person find motivation in the works of others? But when a machine begins copying human thought processes, that's a whole new ballgame. Today, we'll investigate how AI creates such works of art and why the method is causing a stir in copyright law debates, as well as briefly survey some other bizarre developments in the field of AI. Let's take a look at what's been happening with AI in the realm of artistic expression. To begin, Runway ML2 has been released, and everyone is having a great time making crazy cool videos with it. Although still in its infancy, Runway appears to be the frontrunner in the field of artificially intelligent video production. Google is pushing forward with their generative video AI DreamX in an effort to gain market share. It can make decent videos when given a photo or video as a starting point. NVIDIA has announced their own artificial intelligence video generator only a few days after Google's, and it, too, appears to be quite capable. Meanwhile, two computer scientists duped a group of Redditors into contributing money to their cause. Using Stable Diffusion, they created phony pictures of a beautiful woman and convinced the men to pay to see more. This seems like it could have been one of the simpler scams to execute, and unfortunately, I fear there will be many more like it. There was a fake song called Heart on My Sleeve that featured computer-generated versions of Drake and The Weeknd that was making the rounds on social media and Spotify, where it had amassed hundreds of thousands of listens. When Universal Music found out about this, they promptly removed it from all digital platforms. In a press release, they claimed they wanted to outlaw the technology because it was fraudulent, but famous musicians like Kanye West, Jay-Z, and Ariana Grande are all using it. To these instrumental tracks, musicians are adding vocals generated by artificial intelligence. Though they may be upset now, record companies will likely profit from artificial intelligence-created covers of songs by deceased musicians, once they figure out how to do it themselves. The scientific community receives a boost in other AI news. GPT-4 has been shown to perform better than some practicing physicians in answering questions from the United States medical licensing exam. Dr. Isaac Kohani conducted an experiment in which he fed GPT-4 data from a real patient he had seen years before.
I think we're living in a really more remarkable period. AI appears to be incredibly useful for a number of tasks, including in medicine. The challenge, however, is there's not going to be one or two or three or four AI widgets to do a particular task, like looking for retinal disease, like looking for antibiotic resistance. There'll be dozens. Which ones are good? Which ones are best? Which ones will be right for a given population of patients? Which ones will generalize from one hospital to another? We don't know. I'm really excited that this New England Journal of Medicine AI is being created as an offshoot of New England Journal of Medicine, because this will be the vehicle where we can evaluate the clinical worthiness, efficacy, and safety of all these different competing AI products. I think it's an absolute necessity.
Tonight, we take you inside the headquarters of a small company in San Francisco called OpenAI, creators of ChatGPT. Even if you haven't heard of it, your life could soon be impacted by this powerful new technology built with artificial intelligence. Just this week, OpenAI unveiling its newest version, which can answer complex questions in seconds. It can write speeches, take tests. We learned it can now even pass the bar exam to become a lawyer, placing in the top 10%. They believe it could one day help doctors spot disease that the human eye or mind might miss. The CEO, Sam Altman, is just 37.
GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. That just rolls right off the tongue.
Right off the tongue. Yeah, we really named that well,
How does it work?
By ingesting a huge amount of text, a significant fraction of the internet, this AI system can learn the underlying representations of what these words mean, how they relate, do a little bit of something that is sort of like reasoning, sort of like understanding what you as a user want some of the time, not always, not perfectly, and try to help you.
What changes because of artificial intelligence?
Part of the exciting thing here is we get continually surprised by the creative power of all of society.
I think that word surprise, though, it's both exhilarating as well as terrifying to people.
Sure. I think people should be happy that we're a little bit scared of this. I think people should be
You're
happy.
a little bit scared.
A little bit, yeah,
You
of course.
personally.
I think if I said I were not, you should either not trust me or be very unhappy I'm in this job.
Concerned because they acknowledge even they don't know the full power of what they've created. OpenAI's Chief Technology Officer, Mira Murati, shows us the new version out this week. Just listen as I ask a complicated SAT question.
Lisa gives her brother Sam a 15-second head start in a 300-meter race. During the race, Sam runs at an average speed of 5 meters per second. Lisa runs at an average speed of 8 meters per second, not including the head start. Since the last time Lisa started running, which of the following best approximates the number of seconds that had passed when Lisa caught up to Sam?
Within seconds, it answers correctly. The answer is B, 25 seconds. And so we pressed about the potential for cheating.
You have this technology can beat most humans at the SATs, the bar exam. How should schools be integrating this technology in a way that doesn't increase cheating, that doesn't increase laziness among students?
Education is going to have to change, but it's happened many other times with technology. When we got the calculator, the way we taught math and what we tested students on, that totally changed. The promise of this technology, one of the ones that I'm most excited about, is the ability to provide individual learning, great individual learning for each student.
They argue the eventual benefits outweigh the negatives. Take, for example, your taxes. We gave ChatGPT the tax information for a typical family of 3 and chose a recent year, giving it pages and pages of tax code.
I'm copying the tax law here. It's a few pages long.
So you're copying tax law, just multiple pages of tax law.
And within seconds, the standard deduction,
GPT-4 says it's $24,000.
which was correct. And tonight, a first look at what the technology can actually see. Watch as we take a photo of what's inside this refrigerator. The technology analyzes what's there.
I see that you have some bread, some mozzarella cheese, tomatoes, and mayonnaise. You could make a simple grilled cheese sandwich with these ingredients. You could make a strawberry toast by spreading the raspberry fruit spread on the bread and topping it with sliced strawberries. Perfect.
Providing a recipe. But is this also a recipe for something else? Replacing jobs with technology.
You've said AI will likely eliminate millions of jobs. Many people are going to ask, why on earth did you create this technology?
I think it can do the opposite of all of those things too. It is going to eliminate a lot of current jobs, that's true. We can make much better ones. The reason to develop AI at all is that I believe this will be, in terms of impact on our lives and improving our lives and upside, this will be the greatest technology humanity has yet developed.
So in the wrong human hands, it could be a very different device. It could be a very different power.
We do worry a lot about authoritarian governments developing this and using it.
Russia, China. Are you speaking to the government?
Oh, yes.
You're in regular contact?
Regular contact.
And do you think they get it?
More and more every day.
It is common practice in the arts to steal the ideas of others. As old as time, but what if there's more to creativity than that? For examples of these sparks from out of nowhere, think about a musician playing in a cafe. The writer experiences a biological and uniquely human process when an innocuous sound or smell brings back a long-forgotten memory and inspires them to pen a masterpiece. But it appears that AI is copying human inventiveness anyway. Despite the backlash, AI art has been widely celebrated in venues ranging from museums and magazines to social media. This issue of Cosmopolitan features a cover designed by DALL-E 2. Portrait of Edmond Bellamy, a piece created using AI, took first place in a prestigious French art competition, besting hundreds of human-created works. Later, the painting fetched over $400,000 at auction, making history as the first work of art created using artificial intelligence to be sold at a major art house. In the digital arts section of last year's Colorado State Fair Fine Arts competition, this photograph, which was given the English title Space Opera Theatre when translated from the French, took first place. These illustrative works show how extensive and pervasive AI art has become. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are awash in them because anyone can make one. Everything has moved so fast. And keep in mind that this is the worst it will ever get because the technology is still in its infancy. Artists everywhere are heartbroken by this news. Clients' willingness to pay for art has dropped as a result of making the creative process accessible to more people. If the client doesn't need a custom work of art, why should they pay thousands of dollars for one? If you are not a well-known artist, you can have it fixed for much less money. It's going to be a really tough time right now, and I do feel for the artists out there. Obviously, things around AIR have been developing very quickly. It's on a level, it's of course very heartbreaking, and then also seeing like on a collective level. For the community of artists out there who are suffering, it's just so heartbreaking.
I don't see intent. When I look at a painting by somebody I love, the great songwriting, the great composing, the great filmmaking, the great writing, novels, the great painting, drawing, there is a life bound into that. If it comes across to you and affects you deeply and profoundly, what you're connecting with is not just a surface technique, you're connecting with the life of the person that made it. I've used the metaphor of going for a walk a lot in my book and in these conversations. The AI equivalent of going for a walk is to arrive, go to where you start, where you're going to set off, and then just teleport to the place where you end. That's not going for a walk, is it? That's got absolutely nothing to do with going for a walk, just arriving at the end point. But I think almost everybody, surely everybody, has dedicated time and effort to something in their life, whether it's building a motorbike, or tending a garden, growing a vegetable patch, or buying a wreck of a house and doing it up, or they put time and effort into something, and you appreciate how that feels, not just to reach to the end result, but the physical effort of doing it, feeling fitter, feeling stronger, of achieving it, and learning how to do these things along the way, and how each piece of knowledge is connected to another piece, so it becomes a network of knowledge. You actually learn something. It's not lots of little individual bits of stuff decontextualized that 5 minutes later you've forgotten because there's no context for it, and you've tested yourself along the way. You've done things you didn't think you could do. You have aimed towards doing something and got halfway and realized actually you have to do something else. It has to be something else. All of these intricate pathways, these tests, are about growing up and being human, the human experience. That's all the stuff that's important. Getting to the end result of the vegetable patch and the building of the motorbike and the doing up the room is lovely, but it's the journey along the way that's important. The creativity is the journey and the learning and the testing and the growing. It's not just about the end result. I think it's lovely that people are enjoying playing around with this new tool, putting words in and getting these crazy images out. I think that's really fun. But any idea that you ask, and you know, I've never been creative in my life, but now I'm tapping this hidden creativity and making these things, you're not making anything. Creativity is interesting because a lot of mental health is about the loss of control. You feel like you can't make a difference, the world is getting on top of you, and you have no volition in your life, you have no agency. But if you choose to do a creative thing, and you don't have to be the world's greatest novelist or the world's greatest painter, just make something, do something, splash paint on canvas. The physicality of it, the focus of it, the fact that you're doing it means that you're in control of it. It can be a great turning point in regaining your own sanity, mental health, in people who are struggling. We're really, at danger of losing a lot of these things if we devalue the nature of art and creativity.
Hopefully, people are going to find this somewhere on the interwebs and watch this conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Not sure if the future is looking any less bleak or dismal for artists at this point, but it was nice to talk to a fellow artist who at least have some thoughts that range a little wider than just it's fun to create.
Thanks. I think the important thing is, you have to fight for these things. So you have to imagine a future with you in it, and where you can do unique work. And the unique work is in the why questions. Why are you doing this? Not just the technical questions of, achieving another image for another book cover, another album cover that's kind of meaningless, or just another bunch of Midjourney images in a gallery online. When it comes to talking to art students, occasionally I go to art colleges. I think all I will be able to talk to students about in the future is why you personally are doing this. What are you committed to here? Not just doing a brief for a commercial art project. All of that will disappear, I think. Those jobs will not exist anymore. So now it's about focusing on yourself and your place in society, your place in the world, and what you've got to bring to those conversations.
These are just a few instances in the past that illustrate how technological advancements have both threatened and bolstered artistic expression. They do demonstrate that art is not a static or objective concept, but rather one that is open to individual interpretation and development over the course of history and culture. Will AI artwork eventually become just another means of deception? Will cultures eventually become accustomed to AI pictures and, out of curiosity, investigate where they came from? There is no way to know until the future unfolds. One thing keeps nagging at me, though, and that's the fact that this is the first technology that isn't static, and that makes me wonder if AI art is really just another tool. Learning is possible for it. So, it's unclear what that means at this point. It's clear that the newly emerging field of creative artificial intelligence, and more specifically AI-generated artwork, is both exciting and challenging. Artists and society alike face exciting new possibilities and difficult new challenges thanks to artificial intelligence. Perhaps it is time to reevaluate our preconceived notions of art. The first question is, what is art? And the second is, who decides what art is, when looking at these images? It may be obvious that they were generated by AI, but the concept behind them is that there are wealthy people in the world who live in impoverished areas. While the visuals weren't created by humans, the ideas behind them are very human. Is it fair to call these pictures works of art now? Exactly how do you feel about this? How often do you use AI-created pictures? As for copyright protection for AI-created artwork, where do you stand? It's an intriguing debate, so please share your thoughts in the space provided below. Thank you for watching today's video on financial fortune. If you found this information helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on finance and investing. As always, we appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you in the next video.